Hi guys, this is Ranjit, and in this video we'll be doing the review of the Sony LinkBuds S, also known as the LS900, and I feel these are a very good competitor to the Sony XM4's WF-XM4s, and I feel these might be a better bet. And what I'll do, guys, YouTube has started this new thing called product information, so I'll add that in the video, so that you can directly check out the product without leaving actually YouTube. So let's have a look at this one. I have been actually testing this for the past 2 weeks, and I'll make a lot of references towards the Sony WF-XM4s. And first thing I would say out of the box is these are way more comfortable than the XM4s. That's the big thing. But let's have a look at it. And these are also a little bit more compact. So first, let's start with the physical build quality and all those things. Again, these are also made up of plastic, guys. Nothing's that different. Most of the TWS these days are like that. That's the same case even with this one. But one thing I didn't like is that there is slight flex here on the top case. I don't know if it's just my unit, but I am noticing that, which is a little bit disappointing. I expected slightly better from Sony. That's not the case with the XM4s. The XM4s in terms of build quality is solid. So that's the only nitpicking point. Apart from that, you also have a USB Type-C port for charging, and this is for the pairing. Again, this LED is multicolored. It glows in green, orange, and all those things based on the charge. And if you're pairing, it also glows in blue color. So that's what it is. And the biggest thing is that coming to the earbuds, these are comparatively actually smaller, and this is again regarding the comfort. Again, it's clearly marked the right and left over here. We have the ear tips also. Let me actually show you. In the box you don't get too much stuff, but you get actually a good variety of ear tips. Actually 1, 2, 3, and actually one is attached. So you get 4 different types of ear tips. So it's very easy for you to actually get a very comfortable fit, and that's the big trump card with this one. Comfort, I would say, that's the trump card with this one. In fact, I would say among the various TWSs that I have tested at Sony, and it's been quite a bit, I would have to say these one are the most comfortable from Sony that we are getting. You just wear it, and after some time you hardly feel it's there. That's not the case with a lot of popular TWSs that were there from Sony. So that's the big difference, I would say. Again, these are touch capacitors, so you can configure. I'll show you in the app what you want to do with that. Default it is for skipping track, and left it for ambient sound or noise cancellation and all those things. So biggest thing is that these are very, very comfortable, and also once you wear it, in fact, they don't jut out too much out of your ear. And again, these are touch sensitive, so you can pause, all those things. That's the same case. And so that way they are very, very comfortable. I didn't actually have to change the default ear tip. They're very, very comfortable. These also can do multi-point pairing, so you can attach it to 2 devices simultaneously. Again, you have to go into the Sony app and enable that setting. By default, it's not enabled. So that is there. And in fact, in Bluetooth range, I did not have any problems or any disconnections or anything. I tested with these 3 different smartphones, and none of them I had any issues. So that was good. Again, regarding lag while watching videos, I would say very, very minimal. Yes, it was there, but very, very minimal. Unless you're going about to have a look at it, you will not notice it. So I would say very good for even movie watching experience. But again, if you're doing gaming and something, yes, that micro lag you will notice, but that's again with almost every TWS. Next thing I like about this one is, again, this one also has active noise cancellation, and the active noise cancellation is done good. If I have to compare with the XM4s, yes, XM4s are slightly better in noise cancellation, but these are no slouch. I didn't mind them when I was using with active noise cancellation. So that way it's good. And again, it has all the ambient modes and all those things. I'll show you that in the app. So that way it was very, very nice. Now coming to the microphone, which was a big sore point if you notice with earlier Sony TWSs. Luckily, I would say the microphone quality on this one was actually good. I did not have any problems while taking calls with this one. So that way it is very, very good. So you don't have any problems regarding that. So again, you don't have to worry. I have to say the microphone quality was good. I wouldn't say it's outstanding, but again, it's something like that you will not complain. Moving to the next thing is regarding some of the functionality. Again, a typical Sony functionality. Let me actually show you the app that makes it easier. For example, so if you look at this one, default it shows you the status of the charging case and all these things. In sound, if you go, okay, one thing I notice is that, as you can see, it's already detected a new firmware and it's actually transferring it to the earbuds. I simply do not like this functionality, and this is with almost every Sony TWS, because what happened last year was that, again, if you have this app installed, they push out a firmware automatically to the earbuds. And one of the firmwares were actually really bad, and they crippled a lot of XM4s. So I don't like this functionality that without even asking you, they actually push out a firmware upgrade. Give the user a choice. If he doesn't want to do it, disable it, but that's not the case. Again, as you can see, it's installing it. Again, to be very fair, you don't have to install this app, but again, if you want to do the EQ and stuff like this, I've done a little bit of EQ, you have to install the app. I would say install the app, do the EQ and all those things, and uninstall it, because still they're pushing the firmware upgrade. And last year, the incident what happened with the WF-XM4s, many of them got crippled and had problems after the firmware update. I don't trust this auto pushing of firmware without user consent. Okay, that out of the bite. Equalizer, I had to put it a slight EQ I have to do. I set it to excited, and here I would say I got the best sound signature that I wanted. By default, also it's good, but some of the higher tones were missing. But app is almost the same as we have it on the XM4, almost the same functionality. As you can see, DSSC Extreme, all those things are there. Bluetooth connectivity, I didn't have to change this, very stable. You could also set it to priority, but I set it on this one. Stable connection, I didn't have a problem. If you go to system, here you can set the voice assistant and all those things if you want, whatever. Again, you can also customize the buttons on this one. Let me actually show you. For example, you can change the buttons, what they do. And if you go over here left, by default, it's ambient sound control and quick access. So this is good. But again, if you want to do volume control, you cannot check mark the ambient and here I find Sony can actually improve. For example, in ambient control, only the tap is assigned. The double tap and the triple tap is not assigned at all, and you cannot customize it. So yes, there is fair bit of customization, but again, I feel if you want to have volume control within the earbuds, then you lose quite a bit of functionality. So that way, I would say it's done well. They could have actually allowed a user to customize some of the none settings that are set. But that is not the case with this one. Apart from that, in terms of the app functionality wise, I would say this, again, the Sony app, I have told it earlier also, is a 10 on 10, and still it's a 10 on 10. The only thing I don't like is that these push out firmware updates automatically without user consent. So that is something that I do not like. Okay, coming to the battery life, here I would say battery life is average now, considering some of the other premium TWSs that we have in the market. Don't get me wrong, it's not bad. I would say roughly you can get easily about 4 to 4.5 hours if you switch off ANC and all this, maybe even 5 odd hours around that one. But again, the XM4s have far better battery life. If I recall, 7.5 hours you can actually get with this one. So battery life is not bad, but again, it's not among the best that it is. And again, that makes sense. They made it compact to make it comfortable and all those things. So yes, they had to reduce the capacity of the battery on this. The good thing is that it still supports quick charging. So if you just place it here, and yes, obviously after 4.5 hours continuous usage, you will put it back, so it charges. So not a big concern personally for me, but if you're looking for the best battery endurance, yes, no, the XM4 still are the better ones. Okay, now moving to the most important part, that is the sound quality on this one. What do I feel about it? And I have to say, overall, the sound quality is very good for the price. And do note, guys, these are significantly lower in price compared to the XM4s. I think so. Currently, I don't recall, it was 14,000, but with some credit card offers, it was for about 11,000. And I feel for that price, it was good. Some people told that they could even get it for around 10,000 with multiple bank offers and stuff. So yeah, so that's what it is. So for that price point, I'm going to talk about. The sound quality is very good. It's typical Sony sound signature that you are still getting on this one. Again, as I've told you, I showed you the app. In the equalizer, yes, I had to boost up the treble tones a little bit, because this is a general thing that I've noticed with almost every Sony headphones, also earphones. the treble, the higher shimmers are slightly muted by default. So you have to actually tweak it a little bit. But again, because of the app, it's actually very easy to do that. And once you do that a little bit, then I feel most of you will enjoy the sound signature. Yes, Sony by default does a little bit of bass boosting, and that's there even on this one. So strictly not neutral, but the sound signature is such that most of you will enjoy it. I enjoyed this sound on this one. The bass is done well. It's slightly exaggerated, but again, most people will like it. Vocals were very, very clear and I liked it. And again, treble, as I told you, slightly muted. So you have to actually play around with this one. So in terms of sound signature, I would say it's a pleasing sound signature and I could wear it for hours and hours together and it did not fatigue me. Is it the best sound signature out there in terms of clarity and all those things? No, that's not the case. I would give that to some of the Sennheisers or even one of the Yamaha TWS that I'm testing. But again, those cost way, way more than this, almost 2.5 times than this. So for the price, I would say the sound signature is very well done and most of you will actually like it. And I like the fact that EQ, as I've told you, once you set that EQ on any device, it remembers that state. So you don't have to install that app on the other phone. So that way it is good. So in terms of sound signature for the price, I would say it is very, very good. I would give it almost a 9 out of 10 in terms of sound quality for the price. But again, I know some of you will ask me, is it better sounding compared to the XM4? And the straight answer is no. These sound slightly better. But the XM4s are actually very, very uncomfortable. They are very big and bulky. If you notice how big these are. So these actually give me ear fatigue, and I have changed the ear tips. These are not the default Sony ear tips. This is from one of the Jabra TWS that I had, and I've changed the ear tips and others. Still, I get ear pain on this one after 20-25 minutes of usage. That's not the case with this one. This I can wear for hours and hours together. And that's the reason. Actually, these are now in my main bag and I'm carrying it along everywhere with me. This was not the case with this one. This one is just in my house on the desk, morning walks and stuff. I do just about 20-25 minutes I use this. So in terms of comfort, I would say yes, these are better. Sound, yes, XM4 still sound better. If I give the sound quality of the XM4, let's say 100 on 100, if I give this I will give it a solid 90. So that's the big difference. Same case even in active noise cancellation. Active noise cancellation, yes, is slightly better on the XM4, but slightly less on this one, but I do not mind it. It's very pleasingly done. Biggest thing for me is the comfort on this one, and here I would say Sony nailed it, because that's the biggest problem I had with many of the Sony TWSs. So that's where I feel Sony did a great job, and this is actually a little bit more compact also to carry around. The XM4 is definitely a bit more bulkier and heavier. So that's what it is. Now coming to how would I rate it overall? Overall, I would say these are very good TWSs for a person who likes to wear his TWS for a long time. Call quality is good. The active noise cancellation, again, it's not the best, but again, it's again here at the top, I would say. And for music quality also, it was good. So overall, I would say it's a very, very practical TWS that Sony has produced. And in fact, if you tell me to choose between these two right now, the XM4s and this one, I will pick the LinkBuds S just because they are way more comfortable to wear, and that's why you're going to use it way more compared to the XM4s. So that was my review of the LinkBuds S. What do you guys feel about the same? Do let me know in the comment section below. Anyways, guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and I hope to see you in my next video. Take care, guys.